Molt bon dia a tothom. Bon dia. Most welcome to international participants. És un plaer per l'IBEI poder organitzar avui, conjuntament amb l'àrea metropolitana de Barcelona, aquesta sessió de discussió sobre les àrees metropolitanes a Europa a partir d'aquest estudi comparatiu que està fet el senyor Ivan Toslas i que crec que portarà una reflexió molt interessant sobre les línies de futur, sobre les àrees metropolitanes a Europa, les seves dimensions de governança i els reptes en termes de moltes diferents polítiques públiques locals. De la meva banda, jo el que vull desitjar és el més profitós debat possible i aprenentatge entre tots. I només volia, abans de donar pas a la intervenció del senyor Bosch, d'explicar breument l'interès de l'IBEI, que com saben és un institut interuniversitari de Barcelona en què participen les principals universitats públiques de l'àrea metropolitana. Doncs volia mostrar que a l'IBEI cada vegada estem més interessats en el tema d'àrees metropolitanes, ciutats i la seva dimensió internacional, la participació en xarxes internacionals, participació directa en organismes internacionals on puguin mostrar, participar en les decisions sobre qüestions relatives a polítiques públiques i problemes globals que afecten directament a les grans ciutats, a les àrees metropolitanes, a les ciutats globals. I en aquest sentit estem començant a impulsar activitats de docència i també de recerca per impulsar i per desenvolupar més el coneixement sobre aquestes qüestions. I aquesta jornada d'avui que fem conjuntament amb l'àrea metropolitana encaixa perfectament amb aquesta línia de treball que a poc estem començant a desenvolupar. En aquest sentit, per exemple, dins d'unes setmanes tenim l'escola d'estiu de l'IBEI i tenim previst fer un curs sobre àrees metropolitanes a Europa, organitzat conjuntament també amb l'àrea metropolitana, amb la qual estem, una activitat també que estem molt contents. Res més, jo crec que moltes gràcies i deixaré la paraula als senyors.
Bon dia, moltes gràcies, Jacint. Moltes gràcies per acollir-nos aquí a l'IBEI una vegada més. Let me also welcome all of those, our international guests, who have come from different cities in Europe. As you know, today the center of discussion will be the paper, the working paper, elaborated by Mr. Ivan Tosic, present here with us. And we will have the pleasure of debating it with all those metropolitan areas concerned. We would have liked all of them to be present here. Most of them will. So we will have the city of Stuttgart, the city of Greater Manchester, the city also of Amsterdam. Unfortunately, the delegates from Copenhaguen and also from Stuttgart, Zurich, were not able to come. But we'll be here together with Barcelona to discuss about the reality and the prospects of metropolitan areas nowadays in Europe. Now, as you know, in Barcelona, we have a metropolitan area which takes care of different powers concerning the greater Barcelona, the greater city. And all these are always subject to discussion, always, like in your cities. They're subject to discussion because it's a moving issue. It's evolving all the time. So whether we should have more powers in transportation, in waste disposal, in planning, in water distribution, that's always open to discussion and to debate. But here, the paper which we will be discussing by Mr. Tosic raises other points which go a bit further. And that's some ground which we should explore. We are forced to explore because we are forced to consider whether this new ground can benefit our people, our citizens, because we represent citizens, and our prime concern, our priority, is how we can represent them and also serve them better. So how can we improve metropolitan areas, and how can we improve the lot and the condition of our people? That's basically the main point, the focus of the discussion. Mr. Tosic raises some interesting points, which we will debate right now when we go on with the panel. One of them is whether metropolitan areas should have more power, should be more autonomous, more independent, and should lead or should have the leading role in planning. Because planning basically means thinking about how the city should be in the future. This is already something which most metropolitan areas here present and others which have not been able to come, this is something we already share in lesser or greater degrees. So let's get down to talk about that. There's other topics which we don't usually exercise as much in metropolitan areas. A new one in Barcelona is the one which brings me here with you, which is international relations and cooperation. That's the area which I serve as a vice president. And this area, in my opinion, has been revealed as something quite strategic. It enables us to do things like what we're doing right now. To share experiences, to benchmark, to cooperate. This obviously can improve and heighten our job, because things which are being done right now in Amsterdam, which are being done right now in Stuttgart, which have been done right now in Greater Manchester, can benefit Barcelona, and vice versa. So I really do think that what Mr. Tosic is raising, the issue of how present should metropolitan areas be in international relations, I think that's a very relevant topic. We are also, as you know, promoting EMA, which is the Association of European Metropolitan Areas in Europe, to confront greater European realities and to open up dialogue with our own, our respective states, but also with the European Union. With the European Union, where big cities should have a say. We just celebrated a Congress, which we call the Congress Post-Habitat, for reflection and debate on the conclusions of Habitat 3 in Quito. And this was a very interesting Congress in the sense that it brought together international urban thought to see how sustainability and the preservation of the environment and promotion of the environment, and also to see how social cohesion and social justice could be brought down to reality, to specific projects in big cities. And also to talk about how big cities should have a say in the world. Now, we're not saying, like Benjamin Barber said in his famous book, that cities or mayors should rule the world. We haven't got to that point, not yet, not yet. But we are saying that the world cannot be ruled without big cities. So there, I think we are forced to discuss about how big cities should relate to the world and vice versa. Other points which Mr. Tosic also raises are about identity. Should metropolitan areas have an identity? I think he favors a clear yes. But let's discuss that, because we don't have a clear policy in the Barcelona Metropolitan Authority or in other metropolitan areas as far as I know. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about whether we should have direct election of the president of the metropolitan area. This is something which, as most people who are from Barcelona and are involved in the metropolitan reality, many of whom I see here, and I thank you all for coming and thank you all for participating and also for contributing to this effort, to the effort of doing what we are doing now. But this is something which all of you are very familiar with. Should there be a political background behind a metropolitan area? Because that gets us into touchy ground. That's a really big, a political discussion. which might even get into an election campaign. And then we really have it. Then we really have an issue, we really have something at stake. Well, basically what we are doing here is looking at this very stimulating piece of work which Mr. Tosic is presenting to us, and doing what the title says, addressing the metropolitan challenge in metropolitan areas, the ones present here and probably others as well. So let's get down to work, let's get down to discussion and debate, and let's talk about this, and let's see how far we get. I bé, doncs, moltes gràcies a tots, moltes gràcies a la gent de l'àrea metropolitana que han fet possible l'organització d'aquest debat, i també moltes gràcies a l'IBEI, deia al principi, Jacint, una vegada més per acollir-nos aquí i per fer possible que de tant en tant, no cada dia perquè potser seria una mica abusiu, sobretot per la gent que ens dediquem a l'administració o a la política, no? Però de tant en tant donar pas a la reflexió, deixar-nos estimular, deixar-nos guiar per reflexions generals i un punt filosòfic, si voleu, sobre les nostres grans ciutats, la realitat urbana, la realitat metropolitana i tot allò que estem fent en el dia a dia. Per tant, gràcies a tots per aquesta paradeta que ens permetrà seguir amb més forces i amb més convicció. Moltes gràcies.